There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want.
Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
Let me start off with two words. Made in America. Made in America.
Welcome back to another night of Shtick with Koolfrogg. Another night of Shtick with Koolfrogg. You know, again, no promises on an America shirt. I have no clue if he's going to be here today. He has not reached out to me at all, so I have no clue what's going to happen with that. We'll keep him in our thoughts as we actually make it through the night and see if he actually pops himself in here. I do have a few things to actually hit on. It might not be a very long night. I really don't have a whole ton. I seem to have misplaced a news article. I really have to go and find. Where did it go? I swear I save all I like bookmark a whole ton of stuff through the day. Okay, so it's this one. All right. First story right off the top, Joran Sloot is actually being deported to the States. Let's see here. Hey, Tweety. News? Yes. This is a Shtick with Koolfrogg, so let's do this. I do have quite a few different articles up or whatever, so here you go. So the suspect in Natalie Holloway murder case to be extradited from Peru. This is all the way back in 2005. This is a long time ago, like 18 years ago when you think about it. That's almost almost a lifetime for many when you actually think about it, and all the stuff that you go through in 18 years to actually see that somebody like this is actually going to be um, brought back to the States, and yet in an unrelated case. So this is the prime suspect in a disappearance of an American high school student class trip at Aruba nearly 2 decades ago will be brought back to the United States to face charges related to the case, according to the Peruvian authorities. Natalie Holloway was 18 years old when she vanished, having last been seen leaving a bar with Joran Sloot in May 30th, 2005. Her body was never found. She was declared legally dead in 2014. Now, I remember this case in itself. It was almost everywhere. It was so popular that almost every single news site that was out there was consumed by this big massive headline of this young American high school student that had gone missing. It was a huge deal. It really was a huge deal. There's an awful lot of people that showed interest in it. Like I said, it consumed all of media for the most. So this is Van der Sloot, a Dutch national, is currently serving a 28-year-old prison sentence in Peru after being convicted for murdering a 21-year-old Peruvian student in 2010. His temporary extradition to Birmingham, Alabama, was authorized by Peru's government on Wednesday. This case is still open. I know, right? The government of Peru is committed to justice, the rule of law, and the international legal corporation. The statement read, according to AL.com, at a time when there is increasingly greater cross-border transit of people, our institutions are keeping up to ensure that criminals are brought to justice. Vandersloot has twice arrested for Holloway's disappearance, but never charged in her death. He's been flown to the U.S. after prosecutors alleged he attempted to scam someone for $250,000 in exchange for a promise he'd lead him or he'd lead them to Holloway's body in 2010. He was charged with extortion and wire fraud, and an arrest warrant was issued by the FBI. Joe Tecopino, the lawyer who unsuccessfully represented former President Donald Trump in a civil rape and defamation case this month, was representing Vandersloot from New York at the time. He told AL.com that the client had been falsely accused of murder once before. The fact is, he wears a bullseye on his back now, and he's quote unquote usual suspect when it comes to allegations of foul play. When you get labeled as the quote unquote usual suspect, it really usually means that you're the usual suspect. Because why? Because they've been watching you. They know what you're all about. They know what you've been doing. FBI interrogation will get a confession. You think so? I'm not so positive on this current FBI that's intact to actually do such a thing. They can't even do what they're currently doing correct. So we'll see. Um, and shortly after he was charged, Vandersloot traveled to Peru, where he met and unalived the college student Stephanie Flores in May 30th, 2010, 5 years to the day of Holloway's vanishing. So, it seems really uh, interesting to see that this is actually coming, you coming to something that he's actually going to be brought here. He's going to be brought up on these charges. And I hope he actually, goes away for the rest of his life. The victim of the $250,000 scam was not identified when the charges were announced, but they were said by authorities to be from Mountain Brook, Alabama, Holloway's hometown. Several days later, however, CNN reported that the victim was Holloway's mother, Beth, citing Interpol documents. In the statement on Wednesday, Beth Holloway thanked the Peruvian authorities, Flores family, and the U.S. law enforcement, among others. I was blessed to have had Natalie in my life for 18 years, and as of this month, I've been without her for exactly 18 years. She would be 36 years old now. Uh, it has been a very long, painful journey, but the persistence of many is going to pay off. Together, we're finally getting justice for Natalie. So it's freaking awesome that they're actually going to the point of actually, bringing this guy to the States to face charges for something that happened 18 freaking years ago. It's ridiculous. I just watched the first 360 VR music video per premiere. Favorite band's Avenged Sevenfold called We Love You. It was awesome. I bet it was. Forgot the sarcasm quotes. No, that's I get you. So I mean, when it comes down to it, though, I'm interested to actually follow this through a little bit. We'll see what we'll be paying attention to this and see what actually kind of how far this actually goes, and to see if this old case from 18 years ago actually puts this guy away, because he looks like he needs to be. He really does. Just saying. Um, stop that for a minute. And that did that weird. Do this again. Just gonna boomer through this. No big deal. Nothing to see here. Don't worry about it. Um, like I said, I'm excited for the case. I'll be paying attention to as much as I possibly can, and we'll continue to bring more and more updates about Jordan Vandersloot and if he'll actually get brought up on these. It's a case that interests me because I totally remember it from it just being so popular, and I would almost assume the popularity that it was is going to continue to be popular, and people are going to actually want to know about this. The expert, what's up, brother? Uh, so then there's so much that's I do have quite a few articles here on different topics other than the few that I actually put through at you. Let me see if I can get some government issued stuff in here. So then, this guy here, that feds arrest an alleged Chinese spy in Boston. Really? Really? This is an article from today. It says the U.S. citizen from Boston, Massachusetts, indicted Tuesday on charges that had been working as an agent of a foreign government, the Chinese Communist Party. Huh. Go figure. China. We haven't been talking about China forever. We just, it's just an afterthought. Just China. I mean, what's up, Charlemagne? Good to see you. Stick that. Yes. I just can't say for sure about a shirt. Uh, Mr. Liang knowingly acted and caused others to act in the United States as an agent of foreign government, namely the People's Republic of China, without providing prior notification to the United States Attorney General as required by law. Hmm. Go figure. Liang was accused of working as an agent of the People's Republic of China since around 2018 and he continued to work for the foreign government through at least 2022. He'd been secretly working with the CCP to compile a blacklist of Chinese people and organizations who participated in protests supporting pro democracy descendants in China. The Boston Globe reported he was working with the Chinese consulate based in New York. Fox News noted. We don't really care about Fox News or what they noted. We really don't, but it's noted. The Yang communicated that the PRC government officials, knowing them to be PRC government's officials in several ways. These included telephone calls and messages using social media applications WeChat. All WeChat communications are stored on servers outside the United States. Fox News reported that Liang in 2019 co founded the New England Alliance for the Peaceful Unification of China to pro PRC anti Taiwanese independence organization. He served as vice president of the organization through at least 2021. So we've we've had Chinese Communist Party people, PRC members as well, all living within the United States for a long time. This isn't something that's new. We have this lovely thing where you can come into the United States correctly and you can get some kind of form of citizenship to actually uh, actually become a citizen of the United States and still, have relationships with people outside the United States. It's not something that we look past. It's just it's fine. It's fine for the most. Um, working as an agent for a foreign government, on the other hand, while living here in the United States, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. So, most likely, because of what it is and who they are, as opposed to bringing them up on any type of charges or whatever, what are we going to do? We're going to extradite the guy. We're just going to kick him. He's like, later. Tweety US News. Are you stalking me? Because that'd be super, says the expert. It kind of makes you wonder sometimes. Tweety does have the um that ability to seem like she's stalking you, even though she's really not. Just saying. Just saying. It is a thing. Um, let's see. I don't know. Now, so it's now after midnight on the East Coast. So now that it's after midnight on the East Coast, technically, uh, the um, the southern border no longer has any law on it at all, and you're supposed to see this huge Title 42 is expired. It is totally expired. It's gone. Um, Yuma, Arizona mayor announces first release of migrants into community as Title 42 expires. Since Mayor Nichols asked citizens of Yuma to remain calm, assuring them that none of the migrants were convicted criminals. Sure. I don't know if that really matters that they're criminals or not. TBDSUS is not a glowy. Right. On Thursday, Yuma, Arizona Mayor Douglas Nichols announced that local Border Patrol agents would be releasing migrants into the community for the first time in over 2 years. The release, which is said to involve over 100 illegal migrants, comes as border regions brace for an anticipated influx of crossings with the lifting of Title 42 Thursday at midnight. I was notified by Border Patrol, Nichols said during a press conference, that beginning tomorrow in the morning, they're going to be releasing people in different sections of the greater Yuma community and throughout the whole county. So, and this is just one mayor complaining about their city being inundated and uh, with migrants that they have to actually now, you know, help, I guess, give jobs, give them, a home somehow, some way. I don't know how that. I mean, if why giving something always has to happen, but you give something to get something as opposed to just giving it to 'em. I really. What's up, Moose? Tweety US News, fake news? Yes, always. Nichols explained that there will be 141 releases on Friday, 96 within the city of Yuma itself. These are people that have been vetted, at least to the point where Border Patrol has issued them notice to appear papers, which, wherever they end up living in the country, they're to follow up with the judicial process. He lamented the fact that it currently takes 3 to 7 years to make it through the process. The mayor admitted that the release will have an impact on the community and asked citizens of Yuma to remain calm, assuring them that none of the migrants are convicted criminals. Why did he even have to actually say anything? It's okay. Remain calm. It's all good. They're all good. Every single last one of them. Not a single one of them is a criminal. Out of a couple hundred. I mean, what are they actually? Leaving their line at for what's a crime and what's not. So it's like, oh, this guy had only been convicted of basic general theft, a dozen times. He's okay. This other guy that's actually been convicted of assault several times, he might not be okay. I mean, where do you draw your line? Because I mean, criminal's criminal. Criminal's going to do what criminal's going to do. You can't just assume that because you think that all of them are not criminals, that it's going to be okay. That everybody should remain calm. Let's see. Nichols also made a point noting that migrants were not going to be released into neighborhoods, rather commercial type areas that have resources they can utilize. This is a breaking story. Will be updated. So I mean, there's most likely going to be updates to it where they'll actually explain that more people than what they expected had actually been released and actually just allowed to take up the territories. Whatever. It's kind of scary and ridiculous when you think about it. Rest of rest of you degens. Oh, okay. What's up, Mimsy? Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see here. See if I can't not boomer through this next one here. Move that. Not really doing anything in any specific order, am I? Just kind of doing some randomness. Bunch of different news. Oh, here it is. I don't want to do too much. I knew that I had another Title 42 thing up here. Here it is. There it is. Here you go. House GOP passes sweeping immigration reform hours before Title 42 set to lapse. So, House Republicans on Thursday passed legislation to resume border wall construction and restrict asylum claims hours before Title 42 expires, and hundreds of thousands of migrants in Mexico are expected to enter the country. This is just the House. This is just the House. This isn't something huge. We're like, oh, it totally passed, and this has become a new law or whatever. No, it needs to make it through the Senate. Most likely, we'll hear something tomorrow about that. The Madcore Mofo, what's up? The Madcore show says 3 months and counting. Let's go. Awesome. Thank you, brother. Good to see you. Um, well, before Charlemagne makes it back on the expert show, I think she needs to come join us. I think she knows that. The Michael Malloy show is asking for thumbs up. Well, who doesn't ask for thumbs up? Hitting that like button is just something that you should do for everyone because it pushes the algorithms. And, so I mean, tell them over there that they can come over here and do the same. That'd be awesome of them. Either way, so it says House Republicans on Thursday passed legislation to resume border wall construction and restrict asylum claims hours before Title 42 expires, and hundreds of thousands of migrants in Mexico are expected to enter the country. In a 219 to 213 vote, the House passed the Secure the Border Act, which would require migrants seeking asylum to apply outside the United States and fund the hiring of tens of thousands more border agents. Democrats in the Senate are expected to kill the bill. And that's why I said there's no way that this is actually going to pass through the Senate. And they're already expecting the Senate to actually kill it. So it's like they have enough Democrats sitting there. They're going to be like, nah, nah, let's just let them in. It's okay. Let them all in. Let them all in. We'll deal with them later. It doesn't matter. We don't need to do any. There's nothing required for them to actually cross that border. Uh, this is- Thousands of migrants are expected to enter the United States as soon as Title 42 ends Thursday night. So, like I said, it ends today. For me, it's only 10:30 here. So, I mean, technically a half hour ago for, if they're going off East Coast time, like they most likely are, so it's potential that we could be seeing droves and droves of people, coming across that border when we wake up. You should probably see tons and tons of different footage. I'm sure there's going to be people with cameras. Look at the people. Look what they're doing. Um, this is, Thousands of migrants are expected to enter the United States as soon as Title 42 ends Thursday night. Officials warned about 700,000 migrants were waiting in Mexico for the lapse of the border policy, which allows border agents to turn migrants away. Migrants will be processed and released into cities at bus stops, gas stations, and other places across the border. Mark Green of Tennessee said he is holding out hope Senate Democrats change their minds as they did when they voted for Republicans to overturn a controversial Washington, D.C. crime bill. They changed their minds because people got really loud, Green told the Washington Free Beacon before the House passed the legislation. Look at what's happening at the border right now. It's going to get really loud. I would hope that Chuck Schumer does his damn job. So it's like they're pointing fingers at everybody, and they're like that Joe Biden does his damn job. So it's like this isn't just a one time thing or whatever. This is a multiple time thing, or when it comes down to it, where we need to wait for the Senate to do something, and we need to wait for Joe Biden to actually sign it. So Joe Biden not want to sign something just because he doesn't want to could totally change the way things actually turn out. Um, I mean, that's fake news for Koolfrogg. Member for 3 months, awesome. Of course, expert. Only right next to yours, because that's the way it works. Uh, they change their minds because people get really loud. Look at what's happening at the border right now. It's going to get really loud. I would hope that Chuck Schumer does his job. Joe Biden does the damn job. Um, this is Derek Von Orden out of Wisconsin. President Joe Biden has already said he'd veto the bill if it reaches his desk. The White House on Monday issued a statement saying the act does nothing to address the root causes of the migration, which is fine. But what you have to look at the massive amount of people that are coming across that border. They're not just coming out of the countries that are down south of us. It's not what it's. They're coming from multiple different countries around the world, being transported to one country and then walking so far to actually make it to the United States so they can actually get the asylum they're seeking. Electrolytes is what plants crave. What's up, Sean D? Good to see you, brother. Biden's making Trump look better and better. I mean, Trump did look better and better. I don't know anybody that seriously thinks that Joe Biden was the answer to anything. That's ridiculous. Joe Biden is not the answer. Mad poor mofo gifted 5 Cool Frog Army memberships. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Shizzy Wiznot. Good evening to you, good sir. Let's see. President Joe Biden has already said he'd veto the bill. Republican lawmakers told the Free Beacon they're confident that the party can pass measures to fight illegal immigration, even if Thursday's legislation dies in Congress. Uh, Harriet Hagman noted that the House has power over the budget and Republicans may use it as leverage immigration reforms from Democrats, including by defunding some of their pet projects. So they're going to try holding it over their heads and saying, well, hey, well, we have all this funding will go away if you don't do what we ask you to do as well. So, let's pass something. But, like they said, Joe Biden's already saying no, that he's going to veto any kind of bill that comes up to him because he doesn't want he wants people to come in. He wants people to come in so that way he can actually show numbers. He needs the numbers for whatever reason. Uh, he supports me, of course. I'm going to support him back. Absolutely, 100 times over. 100 times over. Um, Green said Republicans should pursue his proposal of incentivize companies to relocate jobs and supply chains from China to Latin America. He said the measure would create opportunity in Latin America and decrease pressure on the southern border. Um, so I mean, was just move jobs was relocate jobs all the way up and down, you know, through from Mexico all the way down into through Latin America, and just hey, if you can actually put something there that will actually make them stop and be like, well, I can get a job here and I can get paid here, they'll maybe stop moving and coming here thinking they're going to get something better for doing absolutely nothing because there's no way that can continue. You miss Shizzy's five gifted members. Did he do one too? Oh, there it is. Shizzy Wiznut gifted 5 Cool Frog memberships. That's freaking awesome. Um, that's that's weird how that worked out. It's like a look at Mad Course and it says Switchblade, Inya, Elizabeth, Volstorm, and Michelle all got one. And then it says Shizzy Wiznut gifted 5, and it says Super V to Helen Back, Flux, Alan Walsh, and Shizzy Wiznut himself all got a gifted membership. So you gifted one to yourself. That's fun. Thank you so much for the support, you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Um, this. Then I don't think I really had anything more on the southern border at this point in time. But it's always something that we keep in mind around here, whatever. I usually try finding things that have something to do with the mass migration of people through uh, Latin America all the way up into the states, and how many people are actually crossing a border unchecked, yet they say that they're checked and they say that they're okay. It's really kind of scary. Oh, I did have this one. There you go. The StreamYard's fun. StreamYard changed a bunch of the things, and they actually changed the way you can actually run the show. So I like it. It says citizen journalists are recording the growing flood of poor foreigners moving through President Joe Biden's unenforced border and into America's communities. Todd Bensman, an investigator at the Center of Immigration Studies, recorded one small part of the migration from the Mexican side of the Rio Grande River at Matamoros. So then you can see the massive amount of people. Like they're not just walking on land. I know you're not.
There's not a lot. You can hear, obvious people, and you can hear wildlife, and you can hear a little bit of ruffling, but it's nothing that, needs to be, broadcast for you to actually be like, "Oh, now I'm there." You can see the multitude of people fording a river just to actually, bring themselves to where they would assume would be a better place. A better place from where they were at. Title 42 expired? Yeah. Now, I believe it should have expired at midnight Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. And this is some of the stuff that is already occurring from today. So now that it's completely over, and House, excuse me, House pushed legislation trying to say that 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 they want to actually put pass some kind of bill that keeps people from being able to do exactly what they're doing here. Um, that won't pass the Senate most likely, or and if it does pass the Senate, get past Joe Biden. Joe Biden's not going to sign it. I don't see him signing shit. Man, that's crazy. What's going on over there? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, exactly, Matt Core. Exactly. It's amazing how many people want to actually bring themselves into the United States from um, Latin America, up and through Mexico, all the way up into to the border. You can see just droves. You could probably go if you could find a live map of sorts, whatever. You could probably go to the point of actually see um, the droves of people heading up all the way up through Central America. It's amazing. Title 8 kicks in, not good for those wanting it or wanting in. Uh, many of the migrants are pitiable. Some are admirable. Most are eager to work, and all are unlucky enough to be born outside of the United States, according to the Los Angeles Times. Uh, Mary, some 33-year-old from Nigeria, carried her sleeping 4-year-old on her back while holding her 10-year-old's hand. She had. She said they had flown to Brazil, then walked and bussed through Bolivia, Peru, and onward into Mexico, taking a month to get to America. So see, that's what I said, from Nigeria. These aren't people that are actually coming from these places to get here. They're actually trying to get here from every other place around the world and coming in the correct way. Apparently, isn't working for them. So they're running away from what they're actually running away from and expecting us just to take them in. But Biden's progressive deputies are deliberately adding to the foreigners' problems and lengthening list of Americans' problems: homelessness, low wages and shrinking middle class, declining life expectancy, spreading poverty, deadly drugs, and alienation. Worse, the inflow of job-seeking migrants reduces the incentive and ability to the U.S. government to solve Americans' problems. This damage occurs at part because many of the progressives throughout the federal and state governments prefer to aid grateful and submissive migrants instead of ordinary, independent, and proud Americans. Business executives do not have to worry about declining education levels in the U.S. schools or spend money to boost U.S. workers' productivity when they can hire many grateful migrant workers at the local bus station. That's not good. So there's more video of the multitude of people, and you can see they're leaving trails of things that they're just like, okay, well, I'm sick of carrying this particular item. This particular item is no longer of use to me. I'm just going to drop this on the way. I mean, look at all these clothes and stuff through here. They're just being trampled. And amended regulations regarding the removal of individuals residing in the country without legal permission by prohibiting legal re-entry for a certain period of time and introducing a process of expedited removal. The law also applied new restrictions to the asylum application process. Yeah, I mean, it's something. Migration, and especially labor migration, is unpopular among swing voters. A 54% majority of Americans say Biden is allowing a southern border invasion, according to an August 22 poll commissioned by the left of Center National Public Radio. The 54% invasion majority included 76% of Republicans, 46% of independents, and even 40% of Democrats. If Biden invites just 3.5 million migrants across the border this year, that would be one migrant for every American birth. Wow. that's that's a lot. That's a lot. That's amazing amount of people to just, push into the country, you know, and this isn't something that's just, all of a sudden happening. It's happened in the last few years since Joe Biden took the White House, and this is the stuff that he's actually doing to. This is the kind of Joe Biden's stupid ass policies. And I mean, we can point fingers at Joe Biden, or we can probably maybe point fingers at others that have something to do with his administration. Barack Obama. We have no clue. We have no clue. We can just speculate, right? The migrants are being rational. They're accepting Biden's offer of a pathway from their unlucky births in chaotic countries. Though the golden door to the society that America's built for their own fellow citizens and children. The Associated Press reported Ricardo Marquez, a 30-year-old Venezuelan man, arrived at a shelter in McAllen after crossing the border with his wife and 5-month-old child in Brownsville. They left Venezuela because his daughter needs surgery. So that's healthy. That's healthy for her. She needs surgery, so we left. We left our country to actually come somewhere where she could, potentially get the help. But you just you traveling the way you are to make it somewhere doesn't seem like that would actually be healthy for the situation in the long run. It sounds kind of dangerous. That one kind of, I guess, you do what you need to do for you and yours. So that's what they're doing, right? Biden's deputies have made many deals with foreign governments to get the migrants from their homelands to the U.S. border. For example, many migrants have helped U.S. taxpayers to get through the Darien Gap jungle trail between South America and Central America. Also, Mexico's government is helping the migrants travel up the border and then cross at a suitable points, according to a March 10 report in the New York Times. So these countries are helping. They're helping these people, travel the distances that they're traveling through the jungles, through up and along the borders, to get to where they need to be. So they're like, oh, we don't want you here. So let's show you where you can go. You can go all the way up here to the United States of America. What's going on here? Um, 5 years of waiting in the U.S. for asylum. Potentially, you could be looking at 5 years. Definitely. The president that opens the borders will win the next election. Uh, I mean, Of course, like I said, he needs more numbers, so he can if he can do what he's doing and continue to bring in more and more people, and people know that he's the one that actually allowed them to come in, and be like, "Oh, we'll vote for that guy." Um, the Mexican government's visa allowed migrants to travel within the country, buy bus tickets and airfare, and make their way to the United States border. The Mexican government has long issued thousands of such documents to migrants, particularly those coming from other countries like Haiti or Venezuela, experiencing humanitarian crises. But visa numbers increased sharply in the last month as authorities issued them to anyone who asked. According to local humanitarian groups, instead of detaining migrants without proper documents, as had been the usual practice, migration authorities directed them to a park in the edge of the Tapakula to start the visa process. In stark contrast to normal operations, migration authorities in southern Mexico have also eased militarized migration enforcement over the last month. Some highway checkpoints have been temporarily lifted, and regular migration sweeps in Tapacola have ceased, according to local aid groups. So, like, they're like, we've there's too many. There's too many, and we've been doing our job for how long, and it's not stopping. We need to stop the insanity because whatever we've been doing isn't been working. And and that's pretty much what they have to do. They have to just look at it as we're not going to stop all these people from going where they want to go. Yeah, that was a controversial one too in itself, wasn't it? Shizzy was not. There was another. There's another video of people walking through the rain and stroll along. I mean, they walk for so long. They're allowed to stop at bus stops and stations, and hop along buses and do all that so that they can make it. Certain distances. They can stop. They can rest. And then they make it to certain areas, and that's why you see large group of people like that when they first started showing this at the very beginning here. Um, when they turn the camera to the left here, you can see all the cars are moving along that side, but you can see that there's a drove of buses that are just parked. And see, look at the amount of there's 3 buses sitting there at least. Looks like there's a semi truck that might have something to do with it. That's where a lot of these people most likely came from, is they all came off of these buses and dumped into this crowd of people that were already moving, to make it look like it was just this huge crowd. But there's so many people. This is gonna get gonna get really kinda scary real quick when it comes down to it. Uh, Mexico's government is cooperating with Biden's government in part because Mexico's president wants more Latino migrants to live and work in the United States. The government aided migrants from all over the world, and many hope to bring their families once the adults establish themselves in the United States. So it's just like they want to bring their families. This isn't something that they just want to bring themselves here. They want to bring themselves here to actually establish themselves so that they can actually go to the point of actually bringing the rest of their family with them in the near future. This is nothing that's just a other humanitarian crises, allowing child trafficking, large quantities of drugs, disease, and list of atrocities goes on and on. Yep, exactly, Mimsy. There's so much that goes along with this. that they're allowing, that they really seriously need to pay attention to. How can an undocumented person vote in the U.S.? Um, they don't need to be documented. I mean, there's so many states where you don't need to show proof. You just go walk in and you go vote. That's how it works. You know that. It's always worked that way. Where do they go? Where do they stay? I don't get how so many people can just escape to the USA with nowhere to go. I just don't get it. That's the difficult one, Matt Gore. When you actually think about it, what are they actually going to do? Are they going to come knock on my door and say, "I need food and I need somewhere to sleep. You need to help me"? And when I say no, they're going to get mad and they're going to bring all their friends and be like, "This is where we live." And like, no, tend to live in one room apartment to escape. Yeah, I mean, and you could see a lot of that actually occurring. You could see a lot of large groups living in small enclosed spaces or whatever, just to escape the elements of been walking around for so long. Their feet are sore, their backs are sore. They need somewhere to sit down for a few minutes. You're going to see a lot of weird, strange movement. So Uh, like I said, this is something that we've been paying attention to for a while, and we're going to continue. Let's see. It says Biden's deputies are working with the Mexican police who act as traffic cops to minimize the visible buildup of U.S. side of the border. Once each group of migrants is allowed to cross, the migrants are packed into buses for transport to a registration office, after which are released into American society. So, I mean, there's a whole process of them just, pushing them, through the country up to here because they're like, we don't want them. Here you go. You can have them. You're like, we don't want them either. What the hell? Oh, we do. Okay. The registration allows Biden's deputies to claim that the following the letter of the immigration law, even though the catch registration and release process allows the migrants to get to the U.S. Um, get to the U.S. jobs they need to pay off their smuggling and travel loans. Without these logistic catch and release process, the vast majority of the migrants would be too poor to get to the U.S. border. The inflow is so huge that extended families in South America are pulling last members up to the United States. The LA Times reported this 30-year-old person of Peru waited to be processed by the border officers. Vano came into America because she has family in Virginia. I have no more family in Peru. She said she had her little boy had traveled for a week to get to the border, taking buses along the way. So I don't have any family where I'm at. I want to get to the family that I have. They live in Virginia. I'm going to take a bus to the border. They're going to live off of whatever they have, minimally, and they're going to see how far they can make it. And they're going to push themselves to actually get up here. Hey, Texas Jen, what's up? Good to see you. Uh, to ease migrant traffic, Biden's deputies opened the gates along President Donald Trump's unfinished wall. Is now on the ground at the U.S.-Mexico border near the Brownsville, Texas, and managed to get a tour of the fence by the local elected officials. So here you go. Look at that. It's just wonderful wall. It's a great wall. I put it up myself. When it comes down to it, I just left the gate open because screw it. I don't need a gate on to stay shut on my big glorious wall. U.S. soldiers are being used in various tasks so border agents can register more migrants. Look at all these people. It's an amazing amount of people. I don't know what it's actually really trying to show me. Okay, it's border patrol agents, military units. They're just gonna go and open the gate and be like, "All right, let's go. You're next. You're next." But yeah, droves and droves of people sitting there waiting to be let across. Biden's border deputy Alejandro Mayorkas is also spending heavily on register the migrants so they can be bussed away from the border. Most of the economic migrants want to be registered because they want to avoid breaking additional laws. They want to apply for asylum and they want to help get aid. They have their own lawyerly explanations for their illegal border crossing, but few of those stories can be verified. It's just out of all the things that they are avoiding doing, the one big thing that they're illegally doing is the border crossing. So they're like, no big deal. As long as you're not doing other things to go along with it, let's go. We'll let you in. At 26-year-old, the woman escaped from an abusive ex-boyfriend connected to the drug trade who stalked her, locked her in a room for 5 days, and eventually ran her out of town. In Colombia, she was warned he was coming to Mexico to find her. So scared, she said, adding that he has resources to find her. So I mean, people are running from people. People are chasing after people. They're smuggling people. There's so much that's happening along this long corridor that's go through here. This is it's so sad and so scary. Um, my grandmother's sick in Miami, Nicaragua, and Luis Orlano told the LA Times she'll have surgery, and I want to help by finding work at or whatever there is. He said in Spanish, so it's like he's gonna move himself around. He's gonna he obviously gonna take himself to Miami if he can get himself there, and go take care of mom or grandmom, and get a job. This is what everybody's doing. But why do they have to actually cross the southern border the way they are? Is there no other way to actually get here? Oh, apparently not. Late 2022, GOP legislators limited the migration funding the Democratic controlled Congress sent to Mayorkas. So Biden's migrants were coming faster than they were bussed northwards. So this is faster than they could be bussed. I don't know what this video really is showing. Yeah, see, look at the disturbing, disgusting shit that they're like clothes and just leaving stuff lay everywhere because they're like, it don't matter. It's okay. This is my stuff. This is, I can hang out on the street on the front of your building, uh, you know, uh, distracting your normal customer base because, nobody wants to walk up and down this to actually go do their own. This is just, the migrants in themselves that are actually doing this. This is so much garbage, junk. Coming soon to a community near you. Yet I bet the governor will give them nice handout. Oh yeah, they're all gonna get nice handouts wherever they go. Exactly, Matt. Are you disgusting? It's just so disturbing what they're allowing to actually happen here in the United States. Everybody says, "Oh, United States is a great place. United States this, United States that," and look at people do to it. This is the stuff that people do to it. Uh, Federal allows 1 million legal migrants to settle in the United States each year. That legal inflow adds one migrant for every 4 U.S. births each year. But Wall Street investors and CEOs want Biden's extra migrants, whether they're young or old, sick or healthy, skilled or unskilled, criminal or civil, migrants because they serve the additional consumers, renters, and workers. On December 13th, for example, Biden's border chief told ElPasoMatters.org that he wants to extract more workers from poor countries. Our immigration system has, as a whole, is broken. It hasn't been updated or reformed in more than 40 years. We look at our partner to the north that has much more nimble immigration system that can be retooled to the needs at the moment. For example, Canada is in need of 1 million workers, and they have agreed that in 2023 they would admit 1.4 million immigrants to fill their labor need that Canadians themselves cannot. They're stuck in antiquated laws that do not meet our current needs, and they haven't been working for many, many years. So, then also we bring up Canada into it, and it's like, well, look what Canada's been doing. They need 1 million workers. They're willing to admit 1.4 million, but they have a cap. They have a limit of the 1.4 million. They're they're not like, oh, it's open. Come on, let's go. It's all good. It's all good. It's Son of Canada. Yeah, exactly. Was it, you want to stay here. You don't, whatever. You don't want to stay from where you were. We're going to send you where you're wanted, where people want you to actually do the jobs. Here you go, Canada. Canada's open. Get it. Many migrants are walking through the border and are then walking to the government registration centers that also provide documents needed to use government services, such as shelters and transportation services. Dozens of migrants are lined up at the main CBP. Look at this, so many people. We're gonna need like 3 buses to take this amount of people to wherever they're going, and it looks like there's 1. Just get in the bus. If you can get on the bus, just get on the bus. If he's counting heads to get on the bus, pay attention because he'd be like, "All right, I can take 5." Be like, "I got a family of 6. Shit, I guess I don't get on the bus." Um, how many of those services are being run nationwide? Array of nonprofits. These nonprofits get their funds from Biden's government and from wealthy investors who are eager to expand migration. These government directed groups are described as non government organizations, and they also try to keep the migrants and their dramatic stories from American journalists. Says that he's from Brazil. They're just trying to get people to talk to them. That's all they're doing. Many of the poor foreign migrants take buses to their new homes in American communities. And that's, it's just like we've seen Abbott actually send multiple different buses to different places. Like he's actually sent buses directly to Kamala Harris's door. It's like you want to leave the border open like that, and you want to bring the droves and droves of people. Well, all right, fine. We're going to send them where we want to send them. Then we're not going to leave them here in Texas. They're in Texas. They're going to actually ship them out. They're going to ship them wherever they can. And Canada really wants some people. They need some people to do some jobs or whatever. I'm sure there'd be plenty of them that would be willing to do that job. Every sovereign nation has a defined territory, just not the U.S. It seems that way, doesn't it? I don't know what this actually is here. 33-second video of the multitude of people sitting at a metro stop, like train station, bus station, and just hanging out. They're all just gonna hang out. They're gonna lay out, sleep, do whatever it is that they want or need to do, and they're not gonna go away. They're gonna take whatever handouts they can get. The inflow is so great that overwhelming taxpayers funded shelters created at the border, but also overwhelming the shelters in the destination cities, despite massive funding by Biden and local Democrat governments, such as in Chicago. This isn't a border town. Those in Chicago, where hundreds of migrants are ending up across the country. Here, they're camping at a police station. That's ridiculous. They're just hanging out at the local police station. We got nowhere better to go. We're just gonna hang out right here. Got that? He's like, what the hell? How can this be allowed to continue to happen? Okay, so that was the police station. Um, at the border, many locals are worried about the massive flow of migrants and they fear there's more coming. There's definitely more coming. You know, they're not actually saying what they're actually saying in English, so I can't translate. As Texas's government is using its limited authority and resources to block the flow into Texas, which I mean, they're like, we got to put something up, something temporary, so throw up some barbed wire. They're not going to come through that. That's fun. There you go. So they're trying to do some kind of prevention so that they can actually isn't just like this huge open border. It's just that there's spots in the border that are, open and allowing people to actually just, show up. Why why is it square? What are they trying to protect their own? Okay. It's an interesting way to actually prevent them from actually coming across the border. There's always plenty of ways and things to do to prevent things from occurring that have already been going on for so long. This one kind of looked like it was one that we had looked at earlier, but kind of similar. Maybe the same spot, just a few different people or something. Okay, there you go. Let's show the group over there. They're all looking at it like, "You want me to do what? You want me to go jump in the water? You want me to cross this thing?" Because that's pretty much what I'd be saying. I'd be like, now that I'm here, now what am I doing?" Barbed wire is really easily cut. I mean, if you got the tool to cut it, right? What's up, Anti-Jack? Good to see you. Um, it is easy to get over Constantine wire. Where do they get phones? I don't know. No need to cut it. I mean, if it's stacked correctly, you shouldn't be able to get over it. But I'm not military, so Shizzy was not maybe knows something that I don't on that. One person, everyone walks over. Oh, okay. I got you. I got you. Makes sense. So then more video of oh, they made it up the thing and they're like, we want through, and they're like, nope, turn around, go back. Okay, so what's he gonna do? He's gonna head back. He's like, well, there's nothing we can do. We gotta go back. Y'all would have hated the volume on this one. This is a lot of wind. It just it's the whole minute is just that wind. You can hear wind blowing. It's kind of annoying. But the GOP leadership has done little to stop the breakdown of basic government functions, largely because GOP donors and influential leaders want the huge imported inflow of consumers, workers, and renters. But GOP leaders know their voters really oppose the migration, so they denounced the open border policy in the later 2022, blocked Democratic demands for more cash to fund the nonprofits and welcome the and distribute illegal migrants. The internal split explains why the GOP is not using the debt ceiling fight to call for border closures. Some GOP legislators are fighting for immigration and border reforms that aid ordinary Americans. Um, not going to be able to play what he said. Our border patrol agents and our law enforcement, they're crying out for help. I had a man text me just a minute ago who works with Border Patrol who said, we're in a broken arrow moment. We are overrun. This body needs to respond. We need to take action. Pass HR 2. So, it was passed to the House, but just that and only that. You too, they're also tested that they have cell phones. I know the ridiculousness of the thought of each one of them has phones. They all have their all these belongings that they're trying to carry with them for as long as they possibly can. They lose most of the belongings in the process, or finally decide to actually just set it down because they're like, all right, it's been too much. I can't do this no more. I can't carry this piece with me any longer. I just can't do it. Um, can someone throw a rug over it too? Um, no concern of how they will charge the phones. I mean, they're going to plug them in when they finally get to somewhere where they can. So they have a phone for a little bit. They use it. They use it for what they need for, and then if they're smart, they'd shut it off. They'd shut it off until they need it again, just to not drain a battery. Good movie. What you watching, T3? Busy was not get some rest. Hopefully she can actually get herself a few hours. Let's see here. I do have a few other things. We do need to hit on one other topic. I don't think that I have anything more for the migration of people. I do have, like I said, the Peloton stuff. So really kind of an interesting ordeal on it. Um, Because Peloton users who bought firm's $1,400 original bike are warned by feds to stop using them immediately as alien brand recalls 2.2 million exercise bikes over faulty seats that have injured 35 and share price slumps 9%. Oh, really? Broken Arrow. Good movie. The references in the article. Oh, okay. I have to see if I can check that out. Use some pen and paper. Thanks for the show. Busy day tomorrow for me. I'll take my own advice and catch the rest.
rest of the replay. Be well, brother. See you tomorrow. You have a good one, dude. Uh, sleep well. Okay, so this is Peloton is recalling over 2 million of their exercise bikes after a warning was issued that the bike seat post assembly could break and cause users to fall. Around 2.2 million of the bike models PL01, the original Peloton bike, is to be recalled, and users are being urged to stop using them immediately. The recall affects models between January 2018 and May of 2023. Holy crap. Oh, that's 5 years worth of selling bikes. You know damn well that they sold a hell of a lot of them. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt that pocketbook in the long run when it comes down to it, because they're gonna have to replace all this or refund. Is somebody, you imagine being that person that's like, I bought this bike back in 2018. I used it twice, and now there's a recall, and I can go get my money back because my fat ass decided not to actually try doing it. There's some interesting thought to go along with that. Bro, how's it going, dear? Good to see ya. Around 2.2 million of the bike model PL01, the original Peloton bike, is recalled, and users are being urged to stop using them immediately. The recall affects models between 2018 and 2023. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, there have been 35 reports of people falling off their $1,400 bikes due to the faulty seat. It resulted in 13 reported injuries, including a fractured wrist, lacerations, and bruises. In a statement, they said consumers should immediately stop using the recalled exercise bikes and contact Peloton for a free repair. Okay, they're gonna repair. They got a more sturdy post to put underneath the seat so that way it doesn't bust. In the statement, the company said in cooperation with the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, Peloton announced a voluntary recall of Peloton original bikes sold from January 2018 to 2023. The seat post can break unexpectedly. They're just going to repeat themselves. Breaking out 2,160,000 units sold in the U.S. as of April 30th, 2023. So, yeah, definitely a lot of seat posts that need to be replaced. I don't know if it's something that they can actually just send the pieces out to the people that actually have these bikes, or if they actually have people bring the bikes to a store to actually get them fixed. Either way, that could be a lot of work. Peloton breaking crotches and asses since 2018. That's so funny. The Peloton original bike model is identified the PL01 model number on the label located in the inside front fork. The red P logo followed by the white colored Peloton brand name on the bike's frame and by its non-swivel display. So there's ways to actually know if you actually had a Peloton, if you have one in your house, to know if you have the 01, that original version, and if you need to actually replace such a thing. I think the big thing for me to take away from this or whatever is to see share prices in the company tank, dropping 8% or 9%. Here it says 8% in the article, but up here I thought it said 9. Did it not say 9? Yeah, it says slumps 9. So dropping and continuing to decrease, you're going to actually see a lot of investors that are actually going to be, most likely pulling out, because they're like, we're losing ass right now. Let's get out of here. And I would almost think that if this is the case, where they're able to go through the recall, that those that were actually injured beforehand are going to actually do some kind of class action lawsuit of sort, where every single person that was injured would be compensated somehow, some way for the injury from this particular issue. So that'll be something to actually pay attention to down the road when we actually, it comes down to it, because there's going to be a lot more to go along with this particular issue, in my thought. I really do. I really do think that there's going to be more to come with it, because there's no way they just kind of like, oh, they screwed up. There's a recall and they're losing their butts, but nothing more is going to come out of it. This is the latest recall comes just a few months after the company agreed to pay $19 million as a civil penalty after a 6-year-old boy was unalived by one of the firm's treadmills. So uh, it- dangerous if not used properly. Um, they all think they're Lance Armstrong, right? They're all vigorously riding these Peloton bikes. White men on bikes. Bicycle, bicycle. Oh, that was interesting in itself. So Peloton having issues, and they're going to continue to have more issues. In my opinion, there's going to be. I would almost assume the class action being something to watch in the near future. Um, I really don't know what I want to cover more here. So let me take a quick glance through. Oh, yes, this guy. Um, so we've all been kind of paying attention to different hopefuls in the GOP, and I know that we've kind of looked at this guy and said, "Nah." From the beginning, they're like, "No, Vivek Ramaswamy is not the person for the job." Just no, no, no. For whatever reason, though, this is voting age should be raised to 25. Now, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that at all. That kind of sounds like something that might actually be better than the current system that we're currently running, or a system where they lower the age, because there's been some on the Democratic side that have actually pushed for it to be lowered to the age of 16, as opposed to being like this guy saying raise it to the age of 25, uh, as opposed to being 18. I mean, maybe there should be more things that should be actually thought about when you actually comes to um, age. Um, those who wish to vote when they are 18 would have to do a 6-month civic service or pass a civics test. Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy will announce a proposal on Thursday that would act as an amendment to the United States Constitution to raise the national voting age from 18 to 25. Ramaswamy, a 37-year-old author and entrepreneur, told the network that he thinks raising the national voting age will create a more informed population of voters and will make voting seen as a true privilege in the United States. However, Ramaswamy said that the current constitutional voting age would still apply to Americans that are able to pass the civics test immigrants take when becoming citizens, as well as those that serve their country as either a first responder or in the military. He plans to make the announcement on the campaign trail in Iowa during Thursday's rally with Governor Kim Reynolds, uh, according to Fox News. And why PMs actually still listen to Fox News is beyond me. They need to actually stop. They actually make me want to actually stop listening to them. Uh, just saying. We're going to be talking about this in a large audience of actually young people in Iowa. Governor Kim Reynolds is going to be there tomorrow. There's going to be a perfect place to roll this out, to lay out one of the most, I think, bluntly ambitious proposals we've rolled out in this campaign, which is to say that we want to restore civic duty in the mindset of the next generation of Americans
and how we want to do it is to say that if you want to vote as an 18-year-old between the ages of 18 and 25, you need to either do the civic duty through the service of the country, that's 6 months service, or either military service, or as a first responder, police, fire, otherwise, or else you have to pass the same civics test an immigrant has to pass, which we kind of already covered. I really hate how they freaking start repeating them to themselves. Either way, I think you get the point. I think you get the point. When it comes down to it, is he really wants to try changing things up and doing things a little bit different. I think that much of a dramatic change in thought process or whatever, and trying to run for something is going to actually set him back. I think it's really going to set him back just a little bit, where he's not going to actually uh, he's not going to pick up the nomination for one. So for him to actually continue to push ridiculous thoughts or whatever and ideas, as opposed to going off of what the stuff needs to be spoke of. Just getting in. Thanks for covering this. Gooch, goof, good. Uh, Good to see you too. Good to see you too. Uh, so Ramaswamy, trying to push different thought, different idea, really isn't going to make any difference at all. He's just pretty much going to alienate himself from actually being um, selected to be any kind of nominee. I really don't see him doing a good job if that's what he's going to continue to do. Older people vote stupidly. They vote just as stupid as anybody if you actually think about it, right? Because there's so many of them that will actually just be like, well, you know, I go walk up to the ballot box and I see two names on there, and I have no clue what either one of them are. As opposed to just leaving it open, I'm gonna go party, or I'm gonna go um, if there's multiple at the same party that are running for it, and I'm gonna be like, okay, so party, and then there's three people, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, or, or there's just so many people that just don't vote correctly, and that's what they're gonna do. Um, Koolfrogg, Arrow. Um, you're old enough to die for this country. You're old enough to vote by alcohol, by firearms. Exactly. That's why I say, this guy trying to push random laws and whatnot. It's really seriously kind of uh, ridiculous to actually think that uh, he wants to be nominated for something. You can't sit there and off of stupid thought think that oh, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna push my own agenda. I'm gonna do whatever I can, I just seriously think it's a bad idea for him to even try pushing anything. Now, am I against the 25-year-old thing? Maybe. Maybe, 18 years old across the board? Sure. 25 across the board? I mean, sure. I mean, I'm not against it, but 16 across the board? Absolutely not. You're nowhere near old enough to actually be informed on anything. Now, he said, 25 unless you could actually pass like a civics test or something or whatever. So it's like, or be in the military, or like a first responder or something or whatever. Work for a service that would actually give you um, that ability. Why not just require everybody to pass a civics class? Every single person takes a civics class, so you think that they might just be a little bit more intelligent than they were in the first place, and they might actually be able to do a good job. What's up, TR? Good to see you, brother. Been listening sort of border since the border stuff. Good to see you. Glad you're here. If y'all haven't already, please hit that like button. Share this out to all your friends. Let them know that you're here. Um, I don't know. Let's see if I have something fun to end the night on. Sure, I have to have something that's not so hard hitting. And we covered quite a bit tonight, quite a bit more than just the Vandersloot and Peloton. Um, we went through a lot of border immigration stuff. I think it's going to have to probably be this one. Let's see. Joe Biden, 80, admits his age is a legitimate thing to question. Really? You don't say. You don't say. We've never questioned it before. Why is he questioning it? Why is he actually saying, "Oh, it's a legitimate thing to question. You should question it." Why is he saying it now? Because he knows that when he goes to run for president of the United States in 2024 against the likeness of somebody like uh, Donald Trump, that both of them will be almost too old. So if it can pass a thing that would actually prevent him from actually running, that's what they're doing, in my opinion, is that's what they're going to continue to do. They're going to continue to actually do whatever they can from preventing the other side from doing anything. Koolfrogg, because many schools have intentionally eliminated civics and economics classes, and others have changed them to agenda whoring curriculums. Um, and I remember having civics class when I was in school. It was taught by one of the senators of the day, whatever. So I mean, it was something. Though I didn't really care for school, it was one of the classes that I did pay attention in because I found it, fairly interesting. So, to change them to, CRT classes as opposed to teaching, economics, civics, history, or any other, which, costs money. Well, of course it costs money. It costs money because it costs money to actually teach people how to do things. Not free. That's a new orgy. That's an old ass dementia patient. Yeah. Um, Koolfrogg was actually just down on the border of Laredo, Texas. Didn't seem crazy at the sophisticated but heavy border patrol presence. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, they're gonna direct them to go somewhere or whatever. They try keeping them off out of the city itself, and try keeping them in a certain spot. Try to keep them corralled up to a point, I suppose. So this is President Joe Biden on Wednesday evening questioned whether he should have launched a re-election campaign at age 80, telling supporters that if he wins, 4 more years is a long time. Speaking at a campaign reception in New York, Biden admitted the decision to seek re-election at his age was not readily apparent. It wasn't an automatic decision about running it again, Biden told supporters. Not because I didn't think there was more to do, but because I thought to myself, 4 more years means 6 more years. It's a long time. Biden is 80 years old today, old, and would be 86 upon leaving office from a potential second term. It's a legitimate thing to raise the question of age, he added. Biden's concern is echoed in polling. The recent April survey revealed a whopping 45% of Democrats said Biden should not run. 86% of those who gave this answer cited his age, 80, as the reason. So even Democrats themselves are like, that's too old. That's too old. Do you think that you might have some, some dementia, some cognition issues that are too great? Um, you need to find somebody that's a little bit younger that can actually not be as corrupt. Maybe I don't know. Um, many kids do end up enjoying real civics classes. Me too. No, exactly, exactly. What's this good news? A group of dads out of Puff Daddies formed a dance crew to perform at their kids' school and became unlikely social media stars with over 300,000 followers, one of which is Hugh Jackman. I mean, because maybe that wasn't the reason that he got that many followers, is because it's Hugh Jackman. I mean, I don't know. Or Hugh Jackman is the follower. That's pretty cool, though. That's amazing. Formed a dance crew to perform for the kids' school. Hmm. He farts mummy dust. His vast deferens haven't been used in years. His balls are like shrunken heads. He's too old. uh, a second poll indicated just 37% of Democrats wanted to seek a second term, down from 52% in the weeks before the midterm election. Leading up to Biden's decision to run, the establishment media levied a tax on Biden's viability, while First Lady Jill Biden constantly defended her husband in a series of high profile media appearances. The attacks were predicted as Biden's aides cited polling that only 37% of Democrats want Biden to launch a reelection campaign. That's not enough people to get the votes, bro. That's not enough people at all. Many worry about Biden's age. One Associated Press, excuse me, one Associated Press article said, and the party's progressive wing has never been enthusiastic about Biden, who is perceived as a moderate despite his lengthy list of achievements. Biden launched his reelection campaign in April. However, a poll completed on the day he announced found him at a record low approval rating of 37%. 59% disapproved. Biden's current approval rating is 36%. A Washington Post and ABC News poll found Sunday. So ratings percents all the way down to 36%. Is garbage rating. When you actually look at almost any president that has had that low of a rating, they usually become rated as the worst presidents in the United States. Oh, yep. What's this calling that? What's this calling that? Because I mean, why do we have to be nice to him all the time? Is there something that says we should be nice to that guy? I don't see it. I don't see that there's anything necessary for us to be nice to him for. All. All. Zero reasons. Um, that should have actually been read earlier. Oh well, I did have another one that went along with the border wall. Oh well, not a big deal. Um, I think we're actually going to call it a night. I think we're going to say good enough for where we're actually at. Thank you all so very much for joining me. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. Share this out. Let all your friends know where you hang out. We will be back here, myself, talking trash and choose. We'll be back here for waking up on a wonderful Friday morning. You got problems meeting Discord? We'll definitely do that. I will be in Discord with Talking Trash and Truth here in a short bit. Um, love y'all. Let me see if I can't actually redirect you somewhere real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Let's see here. Um, I really don't like how this redirect feature works. Okay, there's Mr. Malloy saying I'm bored. We'll send you to him. I think he's actually been on for a short bit. All right. Thank you all so very much. We'll see you in the morning. Later.